Hi, my name is Catherine Roseland, here with Board Game Geek TV at Spiel 2013. I am joined by Ignacy Trewacek and Michiel Hendricks from Portal Games.
Yeah.
And they are here to talk about their new expansion to Robinson Crusoe, Voyage of the Beagle.
And now a few thousand people ask, what about base game? Yes, in States. I'm sorry. Yes. But we have an expansion, right? This expansion is a campaign. It takes the 5 scenarios, connected to one story. This is the story of Charles Darwin and his voyage of the Beagle, yes. We have Charles Darwin card.
It's a new character, that's great.
Yeah. We have, come on, his ship.
The Beagle itself.
Yeah. We have his room. I don't know how it's in English, but it's basically...
His cabin.
Yep, it's his
There
cabin.
you go.
And what is most important, we have this beautiful book.
That is fantastic.
Yes, that presents 5 scenarios that connected the team and with the story, and you play one after another to get this conclusion of the campaign.
Scenario,
Yes,
yeah.
And in the first scenario, the first scenario is based on the scenario called Naturalist, published on Board Game Geek by Board Game Geek users who created them, yes. And we took this scenario, make it official, and said we want more, yes. So this is the fan-based creation, yes, and we expanded it to the official campaign. Yes, in this first scenario, Charles Darwin is on the island, he's collecting rare bees and plants and fossils, and he's making his research, yes?
Yeah.
And at the end of this scenario, depending on how much stuff he gathered, he's more or less happy. And depending how happy he is, the setup for the second scenario is different because he's more excited and he's
a little more depressed.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the more stuff you gathered, he's more determined to survive, to bring this stuff to the United Kingdom, yes, to show it to the Queen, yes. But the second scenario, the ship comes to bring the Charles Darwin to the United Kingdom, but there's a storm coming, the ship is destroyed, and we have this shipboard, as you can see, it is destroyed.
Oh.
And we will have to rebuild it. We have pieces for each section of the ship, and players will have to rebuild the ship. Yes, it's funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And depending on resources and depending on determination of the players, they can repair it in the just minimum level, just so, and let's escape.
Yeah.
Or the maximum level, the best possible. Yes. They have
So
not
nice
too
and
much.
strong.
They have not too much time because the storm is approaching the island, and they have to rebuild the ship as soon as possible to this and escape. So at some point they will be trying to build the best possible, but at some point, okay, now it's time to escape.
And just hurry up and
yes,
finish.
And hurry up, yes. And depending on how good the ship is done, we are here in the third scenario. Players are actually on that ship, depending, life points of the ship are depending on how good it was in the beginning, and the storm hits the ship, and they're on the ocean, and this is first in the history scenario that takes place not on the island, but on the ocean indeed. And they are sailing and trying to escape from the storm, and the storm is destroying the ship, and they're trying to rebuild it, yes, and survive. Very crazy rock and roll scenario for the Robinson Crusoe. Lots of rolls, lots of trying to sail in the right direction because it's turning around, all the
Being thrown
and
about,
the rudder
water
is
to
destroyed.
begin with,
A crazy scenario. But if they survive, we move to the fourth scenario, and personally, I love it the best. I love this scenario as best in the campaign because we are on the tribal island, and Charles Darwin meets there with tribal people, and he wants, please. Robinson Crusoe is a great game. Thank you.
But it's not available.
But it's not available.
Except in German. In German.
Anyway, Charles wants to know the secrets of the tribes. And each tribe have a cute table. This table shows what this tribe demands, what they need. And if you provide them with this stuff, their mood will get better and better and better. And at some point, they will give their secrets to you. On the other hand, if you don't make these demands, they will get angry, and at some point they just attack you because they are furious and they really need this stuff, and they attack you.
better make them happy.
Yes. So this whole scenario is about controlling a mood of the 4 different tribes trying to give them the stuff they need, yes, and try to discover the secret, yes. Very cool scenario. And finally, we move on to the fifth scenario, the conclusion of the campaign. And this is based on the real story from these events in the past, because there is a disease on the ship. Everybody has a sickness, problems, the water is not clear, and they have to stop on an island, find a cure, find a clear water, and rescue, yes? And in this scenario, players, we make a final scoring, because the animals are sick, but you can heal them and finally score them. The fossils are destroyed, you can gather them to make them collection, and you score them. You can fill in the plants, yes, because they are the plants that eat animals, I don't know.
Yeah, they're carnivorous plants.
That's it. So you have to give them some food and score them. So this is the final scoring. But the problem is that because the whole crew of the ship has this disease and sickness, you start the game with only half of life points.
Oh, that's harsh.
So everybody is in sickness and trying to survive and trying to care about this precious stuff from the Charles Darwin, yes? He's begging, hey, my plants are dying, please, yes? And you have to help him.
Right.
And if you manage to score all this stuff, at the end of the campaign, you have this conclusion, and depending on how many points you manage to give, you will learn which of books Charles Darwin will write when he go back to home, yeah? So this is the final conclusion.
Very cool.
I think this is amazing stuff. I mean, I was working with Robert Manson, Marion Hausner, and many testers, yes. And this is something extraordinary. After one scenario, second, third, you get used to the characters, you get used to the story, you care about these plants and
Definitely.
these animals, yes. And the final scenario, when you finally finish it, you played the whole week, yes?
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
had this fulfillment, okay, this is it, this was
And you
amazing.
actually
yes.
managed to survive to the end.
So
and,
this is the Voyage of the Beagle. I mean, the first
even
expansion.
the box is fantastic. As you can see, it looks like a lovely book.
I love it. I mean, I love this book.
amazing, right?
Yes, I'm
I
like,
cannot wait to try this.
we have, of course, many other stuff. We have new events, new characters, many stuff. Yes, we work for many. We have a new character, missionary, yes, who makes don't lose faith, you survive, yes, and he helps in the morals, etc. Lots of good stuff waiting for you. Few copies we gave to the Zeman Games, so you have to visit Zeman Games at BGG-Con.
Okay.
And
hear
if
that?
you are fast, you will have it.
Nice.
And then you have to wait to Zeman Games to make the official North America edition, yes? So this is the Voyage of the Beagle. Can I make one announcement?
Yes, of course.
We have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes,
I have
you're
2
good.
minutes. Because this night I started my first Kickstarter campaign.
Really?
And I'm very proud and I want to tell about this.
It's exciting.
Because for the last 2 years I was writing a post on the Board Game Geek. I have a blog on Board Game Geek called Board Games That Tell Stories, and every Wednesday I post on Board Game Geek a new article about board games. And I collected 35 the best articles, in my opinion, from these 2 years, yes. And I put it in one book, and I try to publish it. So I'm gathering funds.
Fantastic.
If you like Kickstarter, you can find board games that tell stories and hit the button, yes, choose which pledge is good for you. If you like my blog, I really do appreciate to help me with this book, yes?
I'd like to say it's nearly sold out, but that's not how Kickstarter works.
Yes,
right?
but it is already funded. Thank you very much
Yes, exactly.
because after 12 hours it's funded. Thank you
Yes.
very much, all supporters.
So basically,
Fantastic.
sold out
Yes,
for Kickstarter.
we did it
Yeah.
in the 1 a.m. tonight.
Fantastic.
We put it online, and
Right.
when I was here, I got SMS. It's funded, so it was
That's fantastic.
very good day today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So
keep a
this is
lookout
it.
for that.
Portal Games, quite crazy people with the great authors. Yes. Visit us someday at Essen, please, to
Definitely.
meet us, get signed copies.
Or Spell Spectacle,
Yes.
or wherever. Sure.
And I will try to go to Gen Con or BGG-Con someday to meet you
Exactly.
too. So
Hopefully, we'll get to see you there.
let's stay in touch. Thank you very much.
That was Voyage of the Beagle
Yeah.
Thank you.
from Portal Games. Thank you very much.
Thank you.